So today's topic is conduct disorder. Conduct disorder is characterized by a persistent and significant pattern of conduct in which the basic rights of others are violated or rules of society are not followed. The diagnosis is only made when the conduct is far in excess of the routine mischief of children and adolescents. The onset occur much before 18 years of age, usually even before puberty. The disorder is much more common in males. According to ICD-10, there are four subtypes of this disorder. Number 1 is conduct disorder confined to the family context. Number 2 is unsocialized conduct disorder. Number 3 is socialized conduct disorder. And number 4 is oppositional defiant disorder. These four types. Next, coming to the characteristics, clinical features include frequent lying, stealing or robbery, running away from home and school, physical violence like assault or breaking in, use of weapons, and lastly, cruelty towards other peoples and animals. In the more common socialized type of conduct disorder, the person claims loyalty to his or her group. The unsocialized type is a more serious disorder with usually a severe underlying psychopathology. Many patients of conduct disorder, especially socialized type, go on to improve markedly and may lead well adjusted lives. Some others, especially those with severe symptomatology, have a more chronic course and may be diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder after 18 years of age. In addition to the typical symptoms of conduct disorder, secondary complications often develop like drug abuse and dependence, unwanted pregnancy, syphilis, AIDS, criminal record, suicidal and homicidal behavior. The treatment of conduct disorder is usually difficult. The most frequent mode of management is placement in a corrective institution. Often after the child has had legal difficulties, behavioral, educational, and psychotherapeutic measures are usually employed for the behavior modification. Next, coming to the non-organic enuresis. Enuresis is repetitive voiding of urine, either during the day or night, at inappropriate places. The state of affairs is normal in infancy. Most children achieve bladder control by the age of 3 years. By the age of 5 years, there are still about 7% of children who wet their bed. The etiology is not known. The most commonly occurring factors, however, are psychosocial, emotional disturbance, insecurity, sibling rivalry, death of a parent. The treatment are restriction of fluid intake after 8 p.m. in nocturnal enuresis, bladder training during daytime aimed at increasing the holding time of bladder. This is carried out in a step-by-step manner using positive reinforcement. Number 3 is interruption of sleep. Before the expected time of bedwetting, the child should be fully woken up and made aware of passing of urine. Conditioning devices which cause an alarm to sound as soon as the void urine touch the bed sheet. It is important to check the child's hearing before starting treatment. The alarm causes inhibition of further micturition and the child awakens. If properly used, it is an effective method of therapy. Number 5 is supportive psychotherapy for the child, parents, and the whole family is often needed. Next, coming to pharmacotherapy. Drug treatment is usually not a preferred option for the treatment of enuresis. The drug of choice is those who need pharmacotherapy has traditionally been a tricyclic antidepressant, usually imipramine, 25 to 75 mg per day. So here I am completed the topic conduct disorder and non-organic anuresis.